Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IAS. In today's video, we'll be looking into the second part of Vijayanagar Empire, that is on the administrative side. Okay, let's look into the video. Now, see, the administration of Vijayanagar Empire was highly centralized in nature. What do you mean by highly centralized in nature? Which means the king was at the center. Okay, he was assisted by your council of ministers. Okay, and then okay, he was the king plus COM would deliver the administrative. Okay, that is basically the king would do all these functions. In these functions, the COM would assist him. What are those? Administrative, judiciary, alright, legislative. He was a one person who was delivering all the aspects. Okay, the position of king was highly concentrated, central as well as hereditary. What were those? Centralized, power was very concentrated, okay, and it was hereditary. See, one feature I want you to observe here is when we say Vijayanagar Empire, we use the word their centralized authority. Okay, the power was concentrated. One contrasting thing to this is they allowed for diffusion of power. That is, they allowed for local governments or your local self governments. Okay, there are large instances where you can see local self governments in the Vijayanagar Empire. Alright, let's have a look at this. See, the king was assisted by council of ministers. The empires was divided into provinces. There are 6 provinces. Okay. Now, the collection of tax was very important because that's how the main source of income was coming into the state. Okay. This tax came primarily in the form of land or land tax. Okay. Now, the land tax was not fixed arbitrarily. Okay. One good feature is they used to assess the land. They used to assess the land and see the fertility of the land. Okay. See how fertile the land is, and based on that, they would fix tax. Here it was 1/6 of the produce. Alright. Now, look at this. Mahanayakacharya, he was to serve as an intermediary between king and people. Alright. The Vijayanagar Empire was huge and was very well off in trade. Okay. One thing to say about Vijayanagar is its richness, be it in economy, culture, or tradition. Okay. It was its richness. In perspective, okay, with trade, they had multiple trade relations. See, with the Indian islands, right? Abyssinia, Arabia, and all these other countries. Okay. Now look at this, China. Right? Your Vijayanagar Empire had an embassy in China, that is under your Ming dynasty. Okay? Now, look at this. Top grade officers of the army were known as Nayaks or Poligars. Okay? They were granted land in lieu of service. Lands were called as Samuram. The soldiers were usually paid in cash. Slavery was prevalent, as mentioned by foreign traveler Niccolo Conti. These are pretty much known facts. There are some things I want you to observe here. Okay, look at this. Top grade officers of the army were known as Nayaks or Polygars. See, in the north at that point of time, it was Deccan. The Vijayanagar Empire had a very unique stance. Okay, the way Vijayanagar Empire ka location was positioned, okay, it was the imminent attack from north by Delhi Sultans, okay, from your west by Deccan Sultans, from your east by Gajapati rulers. Okay, at this point of time, what happened? The area, not Vijayanagar Empire, the area of Vijayanagar Empire was frequently susceptible to attacks, looting, plundering, okay, destruction of temples, right? Now see, Gajapati rulers, even though Hindu temples, okay, are Hindu rulers, Gajapati rulers are Hindu rulers, but still there was a constant conflict between the Vijayanagar Empire area and the your Gajapati rulers were more of your Odisha side. Okay, that's it. And then here are the Deccan Sultans in the name of Bahmani Sultans. And then from the north came your Delhi Sultans. All this place made the area or the Vijayanagar area, whatever the kingdom now is in, okay, very susceptible to these attacks. Now the bone, okay, the Harihara Bukka, founders of this dynasty, we saw in the political part, refer the political part for this, okay. Now they made sure they built the Vijayanagar Empire, okay, first reason being, okay, creating a boundary which was differentiating from the attackers, that is from Delhi Sultanates, Deccan Sultans, and Gajapati rulers. Okay, that is one thing. And second, with constant invasions, destruction of temples and all, okay, it was given a little bit of religious color. Okay, initially Vijayanagar area or the area that Vijayanagar kingdom was founded was so more so said that it was for protection or preservation of Hindu interests. That's how it was started. I'm not telling that's how it continued. That's how it started. One of the points. Alright. Then what happened? Slowly as time progressed, see, Bahmani Sultans at this point of time, see, somewhere around 1500s we were talking about. Yeah, the timeline we spoke about was somewhere around 1500s. The same point of time, 1498, Vasco da Gama discovered sea route to India, which meant Europeans have entered. The benefit of Europeans were more of, okay, taken by Bahmani Sultans. Now Vijayanagar also wanted that. So then they also started allowing or making Vijayanagar as a place of religious tolerance where multiple people, multiple religions, okay, they could come in, they could trade. See, they are having trade relationship with these countries. Yeah, which means they were also allowing people, because when people come and trade from there, which means local merchants and all will be helped, and then that means increase in money with them, with increase in money from them, which means tax can be increased. Yeah, which means royal exchequer will be filled, right? Which means the wealth of the nation or wealth of the Vijayanagar Empire can be increased. Yes, so for that reason, okay, Vijayanagar Empire initially was started out as protection of Hindu interests, okay, then became sort of secular in nature, okay, then started becoming secular in nature, which meant that in the administration or in the army they started appointing, okay, alongside Hindus they also appointed Muslim generals. Okay, let's move on. Look at this. Empire was divided into different administrative units called Mandalam, Nadu, Sthala, Grama. Right? The governor of Mandalam, okay, was Mandaleshwar or Nayak. Pretty much self-explanatory. This is what we were talking about, the local self-governance. Vijayanagar rulers gave full power to local authorities in the administration. Okay. Next, the king allowed freedom of religion, like we spoke, secular. Textiles, mining, metallurgy, perfumery, other several industries existed, indicating trade was flourishing. Okay, trade was flourishing. Alright. See, in one point of time, we've seen about Jataka tales in Buddhism. Yes. When you see Jataka tales, initially it is seen as, right now, contemporary times, it's seen as a storybook for kids. But the earlier actual motive of Jataka tales was it to serve as a morale booster or how the society should conduct itself for adults. Okay, Jataka tales more of, we say it is like the 550 life of Buddha, earlier births before he was born as Buddha, right? Basically, the whole point of that was to make sure, okay, how the society should run or how the society was. Like in the previous political video of Vijayanagar Empire, we've seen Tenali Ramakrishna, his council of ministers, the story Krishna Devaraja, and then Tenali Ramakrishna was continuing, and also it had a huge impact culturally. Now, this indicates, okay, this is one such indication where how the society was to run, or how the society at that point of time was. Just look at this video.
Tenali Rama and the Thieves. There were many incidents of theft in Vijayanagar. Everybody was talking about it. Rama, too, had heard of these thefts. One night, as Rama was retiring to bed, he saw some movement in the bushes. He was sure it was the thieves. He called out to his wife and told her about the thieves and the plan he had. A little while later,
There have been a lot of robberies in the city. I fear.
So one thing, I mean, as the story progresses, we see how Tenali Ramakrishna's wit he used and he saved the day. Yeah. But here what I wanted to see was look at the one word. There was a lot of theft, right? Which means social evils was taking place. Well, I'm telling this is not something new. Theft is something that happens everywhere, right? Almost every place. Be it any kingdom, no matter how much the administration is, or how strict, how lenient, how liberal, how the society is, it is bound to move in a particular manner, right? You cannot eliminate something completely. And one such thing is theft. But what we can see is at this point of time, see, when we said your Tanali Raman stories, okay, they are a culmination of things just to prove how the society was at that point of time. Right now, we saw a condition saying theft. Yeah. One thing was we know that social evil like this existed, but how did the administration deal with it? What were the kind of punishments or penalties meted out to them? In that front, okay, the punishments or penalties were very harsh. Okay, they were very harsh during the period of Vijayanagar time. Okay, that is one thing you have to observe. Okay, next, have a look at this. Like we said, Vijayanagar Empire, Bahmani rulers. Somewhere to this area comes the Gajapati rulers. Okay. See, it is known fact that if Vijayanagar Empire we speak about Battle of Talikota, which means the Bahmanis, the end of Vijayanagar, all these things. More than the rivalry between Bahmanis and Vijayanagar, the always ever existing fight was between Vijayanagars and the Gajapati rulers. Okay, Vijayanagar rulers went through a lot of tactics, diplomacy, physical skill, martial things, all to subdue your Gajapati rulers. See, it is said that at one point of time it takes a religious quoting telling now this is a fight of religion. Right? If it is a fight of religion, which Jayanagar Empire predominantly was claimed by Hindu, then Gajapati rulers were also Hindu rulers. Why the fight was between Hindu rulers? It's not that. One of the colors given is religion. Okay. Now here it was, okay, be it for Bahmani or Gajapati or Vijayanagar, increasing the influence. Okay, increasing the influence and power became the central hold. Okay. Now, okay. Now, look at this. At this point of time, Vijayanagar, we said somewhere at this point of time, previously we discussed somewhere around 1500s, okay, or your 1498, Vasco da Gama discovered sea route to India, which meant Portuguese entry or basically European entry into India. Bahmanis welcomed them. They also had multiple trade routes, which was flourishing theirs. Okay, Vijayanagar kingdom, if you take, right, initially I'm talking about Vijayanagar kingdom, not about the empire phase. Vijayanagar kingdom was always Vijayanagar kingdom was always paying dues to Bahmanis. Okay, initially they were just paying dues. Now with the entry of multiple kings passed down, the kingdom is now becoming an empire. Comes your one king, Krishna Devaraya or Krishna Devaraja, right? Under this, what happens is Vijayanagar now stops paying dues, okay, stops taking in the loots, stops taking in attacks, stops taking in invaders, starts to fortify itself and increasing its influence and its area. Okay, this is a transition from Vijayanagar kingdom to the empire that it starts. Thus begins the building of Vijayanagar empire. Okay, now how did they do that? See, Vijayanagar Empire, one thing if it has to be credited in its administration is usage of science and innovation. Large scale cannons were used. Okay, cannons were used. Gunpowders were used. Okay, they did not just fight with traditional methods. See, now when you compare, right, north, south, west, east, your majority of north, Delhi Sultanate, Yes, majority of the West, Deccan Sultanate, right? Their area of influence was increasing, and here were some smaller states. Comparatively, at that point of time, the only non-Muslim majority state was your Vijayanagar Empire. For a non-Muslim majority state, Vijayanagar was well versed and well established in its military or army. For example, see, their army consisted of infantry, cavalry, okay. For example, your saddles, horse saddles, they were made more sturdier. The horse controlling ropes, they were made more stronger. The horsemen along with horse became important. One thing was, horse became important. Yes, horse is always important. They exported it from foreign countries. Okay, fine breed horses. Yes, now the horsemen also became important. Horse riding also became important. It started becoming a skill. Okay, this started becoming a skill for them to use in their military conquests. With this, they attained success. Look at this. Krishna Devaraya, the grand capital, Hampi. See, Vijayanagar, if you say one thing we remember is Hampi, yes, but it was not the only capital. It had almost of four capitals, Chandragiri, all those things. It almost had four capitals. Okay. Now the Hampi, luscious green Hampi that was once the capital of Vijayanagar, okay, today is known by this name, ruins of Hampi. Like I said, Vijayanagar was a zone of attraction, looting, destruction, yes, you name it, it took place. See, one thing was, as we spoke earlier, Vijayanagar, okay, in the foreign authors or the foreign accounts, we can see that Vijayanagar was synonymous to wealth. This wealth was not just economic, it was cultural, traditional, right? Economic, we saw trade booming, okay? Trade was booming, their area of influence was booming, their political aspects were also rising from kingdom to empire. Culturally, they used to do this festival called as Mahanavami. See, one of the foreign accounts states that when he was here in India at the peak time of Vijayanagar reign, during the celebration of Mahanavami, the king used to come. Okay, two things he used to do. One, the Mahanavami celebration used to take place in a private sphere. Also, he used to give an appearance for the publics, for his local chiefs, okay, his confidants. And then when the king is doing that, okay, all the chiefs, okay, they would give grants for him. Grants as in they would give gifts for him. So this was both a public as well as a private event. And at this point of time, see, when we speak about cultural aspects, the foreign account states that he was the person was almost completely spellbound. Okay, he was awestruck by seeing the amount of jewelry the woman wore. Okay, he was awestruck by the amount of jewelry women wore, precious stones, hand bangles, belts, garters, all those things. Okay, he was awestruck by the amount of jewelry that women wore. Okay, and then he has mentioned it. Okay, he has told that one thing, if I say about Vijayanagar, if it's cultures, if it's art, if it's architecture, if everything is so fine and precious, so are its women, so is its jewelry, everything is the finest piece of work. And he goes on to compare it to cities like Rome, flourishing green cities. Everywhere he sees architectural wonder, or the word wonder is used very wonderfully. Okay, that is what your Hampi was. Now look at this Hampi in the map. Okay, now before entering, just about history wouldn't suffice or wouldn't do justice to a place. We said Vijayanagar, yes, was flourishing well in trade, etc. What kind of geography was Vijayanagar Empire, or what kind of area was Vijayanagar Empire located in? Look at this. This was almost okay. I'm telling the empire part, not the kingdom part. They started flourishing well. Almost this area is a Vijayanagar Empire. They kept on increasing their influence. Okay. What area this falls is Vijayanagar Empire falls under the area of semi-arid region. Okay. See, this is the keyword you can use in your mains exam. Vijayanagar area fell in the semi-arid region of peninsular India. Okay, which meant they widely utilized their coasts for trade, culture, economy, food, tradition, name it, it is there. Okay, they widely and neatly utilize the geography for the history. Understanding? Next, this is the same indication as to how the region's influence was, how the geography was influencing the history. Okay, now this is the flag of Vijayanagar Empire. Look at this, Varaha or boar crest on the Vijayanagar kings, right? Symbolism of animal. Okay, this is your Vijayanagar army. Okay, they had well and sufficient, okay, well efficient and sufficient amount of army. Look at this is what we were talking, cannons. They utilized cannons in their war with Gajapati rulers, with Bahmanis. See, now there is this story that goes on. Once the Vijayanagar rulers decided they'll go fight a war with their opposite kingdom. So what happened was that king, alright, okay, consider this as the army, the state frigates, okay. Now all the Vijayanagar army was marching towards their enemy. The enemy's castle, okay, we said this is between Krishna and Tungabhadra, right? Now this castle, okay, was mounted with cannons, right? That is these things. They thought the second they will go near, they will start shooting and they will try to eliminate the army at a strategic position. Vijayanagar ruler knew this. So what he did was he sent people from here, okay, to take down the wall, okay, take down this wall with just hand axes, sickles and all those kind of machines. And they were placed in such strategic position that the cannons could not be fired upon them. Okay, when they were able to trying to distract them, the army marched. When they marched, they caught control of this, and then the cannons of the enemy, that is when this place fell, okay, seized to the Vijayanagar Empire or to the Vijayanagar king, they took control of this place and used the cannons against the enemy or the person who this fort belongs. Okay, that is the utilization of cannons. Next, they also utilized gunpowders. They also took help of your Europeans, by that meaning Portuguese to be specific, in their wars against their enemies. Okay, it is known that on multiple occasions it is seen that they used small range pistols in their fights. Okay, now look at this. These are foot stirrups, nothing but, like I told you, horse important, horse riding important, horse rider also important, because this was a skill which meant, okay, they had to be efficient. This part, okay, the one which you climb on this and then, okay, place yourself on horse, this also was making sure that the person sat sturdily, okay, on the horse. This was another added benefit or invention of, okay, this was one of their utilization. Nothing but saddle. You use it to sit on top of horse. They made, even if it is just minute things, they made sure they had better, effective and efficient ways to treat it. Okay. Now, these are the weapons. I mean, I'm not telling these are the only weapons, but these are the weapons in display even today at museum. Okay. Now, when you say Vijayanagar administration, right, along with the pros comes the cons. Okay. Child marriage, sati, polygamy, all prevalent in the society. Okay. At the same point of time, another thing that can be prevalently seen is your Devdasi system. What is Devdasi system? Woman is somewhere considered. See, over the point of time, it's got multiple meanings. One meaning is that it's where a woman is married to the temple or deity. Okay, all of her lives revolve around that. Initially, the Devdasis were given a high post, such as they were equivalent to the hierarchy went as god, temple priest, and then Devdasis. They were considered auspicious, the dancing and everything. It was like that. Later, it went on to multiple other social ills, okay, which brought down the system, okay. It was more of an exploitative system, alright. All of this were prevalent during the Vijayanagar time, okay. Despite having said that, okay, there are certain cons. The pros were women held higher posts, okay. That is, women were employed in state. Okay, I mean the works were not like too big, or they were not given very politically higher positions as such, but at least they were given some jobs in the state. Okay, there were also multiple women poets. Um, there were also women poets. Okay, not very much, but at least they were there. See, now this is your Krishna Deva Raya, right? His wife Chinnamma Devi and Tirumala Devi. This is a sculpture present in Tirupati even today. Okay, this dates back to your administration. Okay, proving that women sometimes would take part in the religious ceremony with the king or with her husband. Okay, and then women were also given some posts where they could offer prayers. Okay, they could sit for rituals. All right, then one such thing. Remember, we spoke something about punishments. They were very severe. Yeah, one such punishment is people used to be trampled by elephants, not accidentally but purposefully. One more such thing is mutilating the body, kind of sending a message. Yet we saw one case where we saw in that video of Tenali Raman where theft was there. Even if that was there, they would be made an example in such a way that the society will not dare to repeat that. That kind of things were seen. That was the point of the punishments becoming harsher. Okay, next. Look at this. From ancient capital to modern India steel city, the present day administration of your Vijayanagar. One thing it is known for is your steel. Alright? Yes. See, as we have seen, Vijayanagar Empire has had and will have a very important role to play in Indian history. Okay, that somewhere continues to our present also. Okay, now one such thing is your multiple schools, colleges, alright, law institutes, Krishna Deva Raya University. Right, it's just an indication how history is having a shred or a linkage in the present. Okay. If you like our videos, do like it, alright? Subscribe to our channel. Leave us a comment telling if you want to see more of this video or what are the sections you want to discuss, okay? And then pass it along with your friends.